There's no higher feeling in sports than right now than winning the Super Bowl.
We knew that we were better than you.
Offense, defense, and special teams were all ranked in the top 5.
Everybody knew the Washington Redskins were the premier team.
For 60 minutes, this team is going to compete and get after you.
Best team in NFL history, bar none.
The world champion.
I really feel like the Washington football team, that organization is the #1 sports franchise in the world.
Great job, hey! Proud of all of you, man.
It is a city of winners and a city of momentum, and people were super excited about the team, about the players.
We were revered. They would shut Georgetown down because people would be in the streets hanging on light poles, just celebrating another Redskin win.
What the football team did was the most important thing every day of the year.
I think that city is the most powerful city in the world. And the one thing that unites that city, when it's so divided in so many different ways, is the Washington Redskins.
There was some crazy rabid fans that loved us as players and loved what we did on the field.
And I think as far as home field advantage, I don't know that I recall being anywhere where we had as much support as we had here and as much fan energy that really drove our football team.
And I think that's why we played so hard, because we didn't just see them as fans, we saw them as family.
They know when to cheer and when to boo, and you're going to get it. If you're not performing for them, they're going to let you know. I loved it, and they were passionate, and they were after it every single week.
Every year I start off, and I got an owner that says we're going to the Super Bowl. All the fans say we're going to the Super Bowl. And on Sundays when I go in there, it should be the happiest day of a lot of people's lives. The fans are out there throwing frisbees, they're eating hot dogs and stuff, and I feel like I'm going to throw up.
First of all, Mr. Cook had enough guts to sign up a young guy coaching football that had never been a head coach. And then the fans. That football team is important to them. And so I took all that, and the reality hit me. I can't let them down. And so I think a lot of that is what drove me.
Let's hit it rolling now. Let's earn this thing today. Nothing gets away from us. Let's earn it today, okay?
Joe was a perfectionist to the nth degree, and that's what he expected on the field. And he just wasn't. He was someone that slept at the park 3 nights a week. No one was going to outwork Joe Gibbs.
He knew everybody's strengths and weaknesses, and he knew he could come at me and probably say, "Come on, B. Mitch, you gotta get better." The next person, "Hey, come on, guy." The other guy just looked at him. He didn't believe that it was just one way to treat everybody. He understood everybody.
There's none better that I've ever seen in my life that had that rapport that we had as a team that respected a guy as much as we did Joe Gibbs.
This is the best thing about Joe Gibbs. You wanted to win for him. You wanted to win for him. Joe Gibbs. Everybody loves Joe.
It was a team full of veterans that had character. You never had to worry about guys off the field. They were singularly focused. They didn't loud talk anybody. There wasn't a lot of trash talk. They just showed up and dominated. And that's really what that year was all about, domination.
The reason why that team, honestly, in my opinion, is the best team ever is you don't hear a lot about the individual names because we did everything virtually as a team. The unit, everything was broken down into units for us. You had the Hogs, of course. You had the Posse, which was the 3 Ys. You had Mark Rippon, which was the quarterback. You had the national defense. All these things that just came together.
Is there any other big, beefy type position in football known more than the Hogs?
Well, I tell you, you know, keep your jersey clean throughout a season, you know, 7 sacks.
He never got touched the whole year. He didn't get touched. To throw a deep ball, you got to have time for those receivers to get downfield. And so you think about all the bombs that ripping through that year. That's because nobody got near him for 5 or 6 seconds, which is a testament to that line. I mean, that line, I will put that offensive line that year up against any offensive line in NFL history.
Then you look at Gary, Art, and Ricky. 3 guys, I think, on the football team that they all could be standing out by themselves, but they understood they were a team.
We're the posse, probably quite honestly, even to today, I think it was the best 3 receivers as a group.
Well, the main thing about the posse was that they really did complement one another. You know, if you think about the way that they played, you can envision it, I'm sure, if you remember back then.
The posse and the receiver group, which was certainly for me, kept me up at night.
As a player, you got to pinch yourself to say, hey, I had an opportunity to play with greatness, and greatness as it ever comes.
A lot of great things we can be doing, and the best one is kicking their ass.
Yeah, I mean, I think the defense that year kind of embodied, they were perfect for Joe Gibbs. Right place all the time, knew what they were doing, worked together.
We're putting up, whatever, 30, 40 points. Our defense is shutting people down.
That year, we shut out 3 football teams. We shut out 3 football teams in one season.
For me, it's like the goal is the Super Bowl. You can't be that team that's the best team in the NFL, right? And you don't go to the show.
Y'all know we won the division today, don't you? Y'all realize we won the division today?
Joe Gibbs walked over and he said in just such a matter-of-fact way, we have one goal and one goal only, that's to go and win the Super Bowl.
In the playoff run, y'all know, it was a good run.
The Atlanta Falcons and Jerry Glanville, who left tickets for Elvis every week, is now trying to bring their little program to RFK.
Remember that Atlanta had come to RFK during the regular season and ripping through 6 touchdowns against them. But for some reason, the Falcons were still loud talking when they came back for the playoff game. Like, you know, they were going to come in and end this magical season.
They were filming a video with MC Hammer.
They came off a little cocky, how good they are, and we could kind of be shut down. And I'm not the guy to take things personal, but when I do.
They were focused on doing their MC Hammer video, and somehow they forgot about the Washington Redskins.
Once we go in and we get the score, and Ron Middleton start doing his little dance in the end zone, you know, sea cushions start coming down. In real time, it looked like it was in slow motion.
It was almost sending those, we love you guys, to all of us on the field as fans, to players, and we had that incredible connection.
Here we go. So our last hurdle is the Detroit Lions.
Literally the first play of the game where Charles Mann blows up the Lions tackle, sacks the quarterback, strip sack, Washington recovers the ball at the 9. Game's over. The game's over after the first play.
Guess who gets it? Big play Stokes picks it up. We have the ball, we give it to Mark Rippon and our offense on like the 10-yard line. We score, never look back. We were NFC champs and go on to the Super Bowl to play the Buffalo Bills.
They just weren't going to be beat that day. No chance.
Like I said, we're excited about being here.
I was a nervous Nelly.
Let's hit it now, let's go! If I get this thing, let's go, get over
It's the biggest game at the biggest time, and our biggest guys came out to play.
Ain't that good, man, keep playing.
Buffalo talked trash. We took it all in. When the game started, I'm going to see if you're going to put your money where your mouth is.
And so there was a sense of, oh, really? You being the team that's 16-2, you're going to diss them the week of the Super Bowl? Okay. You know, so.
It was a great game. Buffalo, a great team. It is, unfortunately, they had to play us on that day.
pocket and down. This is intercepted by Kurt Gobert. He has a stand-up.
We were better coached. We were better prepared. We were battle tested.
Back to throw it. Going deep. Touchdown, Redskins. Clark. The Redskins are the world champions.
Wow, this did happen. This is really cool. This is what we're supposed to do. And when you're the quarterback of the Washington Redskins, you're supposed to win Super Bowls.
It is everything a kid dreams about or thinks it should be in that moment. It really is all that. It's bigger than life.
Say I'm going to Disney World, I'm coming with you. My dad had passed away earlier that year. I remember all the times he and I had our conversations about what I wanted to do, and I was overwhelmed because I kept my promise and told him about the things I wanted to do, and I made it, so it was cool.
I can't think of life without thinking about my teammates. My life today would be so different if I did not have that engagement with those guys.
There's a love, there's a relationships there that are far beyond football. These brothers of mine, I just love them.
That was in 1992, and still today in 2022, we still act as if we're still playing the game.
And those relationships, I think grew from one being together for that period of time, but also from the success that we had.
You can't go through such crazy times and not form some type of bond that lasts forever. You see these grown men, hugging one another, laughing with one another, and sometimes crying with one another because of such the love that they have.
What's better than going 17-2 and winning a Super Bowl 26 champs? These are bonds that will never ever go away, and even if people try to break them, you can't.